Welcome to the Fool Show, guys. I'm, of course, Foolish Phil, and it is Michigan State week, one of the three big weeks of the year. Notre Dame, Michigan State, and, of course, Ohio State. Michigan's just coming off their most impressive victory versus Wisconsin, and I touched on that with my foolish reaction to that. If you want to catch my thoughts, look for that video just a couple days ago. Michigan State, besides the stats, besides how they play, the one thing you have to know is Mark D'Antonio is going to fire up his team. Michigan is their biggest game of the whole year. So this is the game they just get ready for. They're fired up. They are the most aggressive in this game. And Michigan has to match their aggressiveness. D'Antonio uses the respect card so well. I respect him as a coach because he gets his team fired up for this game. I hope Michigan can be fired up for this game. If we look at the past history, of course, Jim Harbaugh is 1-2 in these games with a better play call. I'm not even going to go to the botch snap. I think if we do a play call now, where you just have the quarterback throw the ball instead, just run the clock out that way, just take a drop back and just chuck it out of bounds, the whole clock runs out too. I think a better play call. I've seen other teams figure that out and run, like, just throw the ball deep out of bounds to run the play clock instead of trying to do a punt. I'm sure he would do it differently now. Without that play, we're 2-1 with Jim Harbaugh as our coach, but we're 1-2. So Harbaugh seems to be able to get his team to play good in this game. Every game's been like one score, and the only game that was like 9-10 points was when Michigan went into Michigan State 2 years ago and beat them 30-20 something. Now, so you can kind of expect a tight game. These teams will just hate each other. The fan bases hate each other. I avoid local radio like it's a plague. I'm just so sick of all the Michigan and Michigan State fan bases calling in and, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, blah, blah. It's like so annoying. I just want this week to get to Saturday so we can see the game. So let's talk about the game. Of course, D'Antonio's going to get his team to play like this is their Super Bowl. So, no, they're going to have extra emphasis. We got to match it as Michigan. But if you look at stats, Michigan should win this game. Should is the word. I mean, Michigan averages 38 points a game. Michigan State 26 points per game against, 15 for Michigan, 22 for Michigan State. So they're used to tight games. Michigan State's used to tight games. You could see Lewerke last week with that game-winning touchdown with under a minute to go. I mean, he's got poise on him, and that just showed you Michigan State going into Penn State and winning, that this team is not just a pushover. I thought after their Northwestern loss that Michigan State was going to get smashed last week, but they rallied around their team, they rallied around their chance, because if they still just kind of went out, yeah, they lost to Northwestern, but they didn't lose to a division foe, right? They still have everything in front of them too, right? So they're fired up. They can still get what they want to get. Probably not the college football playoff with 2 losses, but they can still win the Big Ten. Now, Lewerke. He, last year in that Rain Bowl in Ann Arbor, would crush Michigan on 3rd and longs and just scramble. He has like 55 rushes this year. So he's a little bit of a runner. He's not like a big spread runner, but he just has that ability, that uncanny skill to just run for a first down and just rip your heart out on defense. Like, you cover everything right. You maybe even have a spy on him, and he still beats you and gets a first down. That's so terrible. The defense was so tired. This whole game, they're just going to be smashing each other. Lewerke's feet are a key. We have got to get it into 3rd and longs and make it so he has to pass. Now, if you've heard the forecast of this game, it's calling for a good chance of rain. They play on a grass field at East Lansing, so it's probably going to be muddy. Even if they don't play in rain, it's going to rain Friday night into Saturday morning and maybe some more during the game. So it's going to be a muddy game. Also, there's supposed to be some good wind, like 15 to 25 gusts, mile-per-hour winds. And you know what that does? It takes away the deep passing game. It probably does. So, Michigan State they only average 3.4 yards per carry rushing. Michigan obviously plays pretty good against the run, but Michigan State plays extremely well against the run, so it's kind of that balance. Do they do a really good job against the run, or is it just people play their secondary and just pick them apart through the air because that's easier? The weather's going to make this a little bit more of a running game, which honestly probably doesn't help Michigan, because I think Shea Patterson and the offensive weapons of Michigan, who are not injured, would have been a X factor, something that Michigan would have that Michigan State doesn't have. But now, with it supposed to be windy, I think that kind of pushes that advantage back a little bit, pulls it back in. We still have players that can break plays, but we're not going to probably have those deep balls to Nico Collins. We're going to have to do more mid-range stuff to maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones, Grant Perry, and of course Nico Collins and our tight ends. So I still think that Patterson can throw a good short pass, like the 15-20 yard pass, pretty well. He's got a good arm. But that is going to be a factor. We're going to have to see how that plays out with the wind and the rain in the passing game. Now, talking about the rushing, L.J. Scott, I was reading something about him kind of being back. That maybe he was injured. I don't follow Michigan State the most, so I'm sorry if he was injured and he's back now. But you have Hayward and Jefferson are their top rushers, right? And of course, if you look at their passing offense, Felton Davis III, 31 receptions and 4 touchdowns. So he's definitely their stud. And their other top wide receiver broke his hand, and he's out. So it's really just kind of Davis, right, who's going to be their main threat. I'm expecting Long, who's probably our best shutdown corner, to be on him all game. And that's going to be a great matchup. It reminds me of 1997 when you had, or early 2000s, you had Charles Rogers was on the MSU Spartans, and so he was like their big weapon, and he was a good player. He went pro, and he did pretty good for the Lions, so he broke his collarbone, I think it was. It never was the same. But like the first play of the game, they did a deep bomb to him. He caught it, and then Michigan shut him down, and they had to settle for a field goal. And that's like the only thing Michigan gave up to him that whole game. So Michigan, focusing on Michigan here. D'Antonio came out and said they want to run the ball. So I'm expecting them to, really, that is who they are. They're going to try to run on first down, run on second down. You got to get them to 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 or more, and then just try to get Lorky. He has the habit of making ill-timed interceptions. Like, he will just try to make a play that he shouldn't. There's an easy drop-off, dump-off pass, and he goes for the bigger play and gets picked off. We got to get him rattled just like we did Hornibrook last week. We got to get pressure on him. If you get him thinking there's pressure, it really helps, because you know what? Even if he has time, he's thinking there's going to be pressure on him. It gets him to think quicker, to move quicker, hopefully get off balance. I don't know if the stats still exist, but in years past they had the team that won the rushing battle, won the game 50 out of the last 51 times, something like that. It's all about rushing, really. If it's going to be poor weather, poor track, muddy field, who's going to be able to rush the ball? Now, I know Wisconsin wasn't #1 in rush defense like Michigan State is, but what Michigan was able to do, you could see them wearing them down, especially in the second half. So I'm expecting Michigan to kind of stick with the run, but I hope they come out with the pass. That was so great they came out with passing against Wisconsin. They went down the field. They didn't score, but it set the tone. Michigan has come out well 2 games in a row. Please come out and pass. Please come out and pass. Because everyone's expecting us to run. You pass to open up the run. You pass to open up the run. So, my foolish pick, I think Michigan wins this game. And I honestly hope they win by 17 points. 17 points. So I'm thinking in the 34 to 17 range. But if you look at the numbers for this game, statistically, the Michigan State game, it's usually a 1-score game. So it's probably going to be something in the 17 to 20 range. 20 to 17. And field goals are going to be interesting. Nordine had a kind of an up and down game. His kicks aren't looking that good. People are wondering if he's kind of injured. He made 2 field goals. I don't count the 50-plus yarder against him because, you know, this is still college. But their kicker has not missed anything. His longest, all the extra points and field goals, he's made up of 49 yarders. So it'll be interesting if the kick comes into play in this game, and hopefully Nordine can be healthy and kicking well. Again, he's got the leg, just can he get the accuracy? So I'm picking Michigan to win. I'm hoping my foolish pick is like 34-17, but I'm really thinking it'll probably be like 20-17, something in that range. We'll see how it goes on Saturday. In the comments below, let me know what you think is the key to the game. I think if this game, it's the rushing. Who's going to be able to rush the ball? So what's your key to the game? What do you think the score is going to be? Put it in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video. If you like it, thumbs up. If you like the channel, subscribe. Thanks, and as always, go blue.